I um I want to comment on symbols and their relation to uh, being humane, or the general presumptive notion uh, of humane that can be gleaned. And so, what makes me want to comment on this today is that I was walking down the street. I live on a main road, and there is currently construction going on the right side of the road, and so it's fenced off basically. Whilst I guess it wouldn't be construction necessarily, but like roadworks. Whilst that's being dealt with. And so I was walking down the left side of the street on the left footpath, and I came across um, the carcass of a dead white cat that had been run over and just left on the side of the road, and no collar or anything. But I couldn't help but look at it for a while, and I flashed on the realization, uh, the real eyes creation, if you want to think of it like that, of why this image of this dead cat made me feel more reactant, in a anxious sense than the up the road a little bit, a little further down, there was a squashed hedgehog that was in the middle of a crossing. I wondered why, the the impression of the cat, uh, almost has a sort of like stronger unconscious reacting, because I don't know why I react to um, react to something that I realize is um, completely understandable given the context of the environment. I don't know why I react, strongly to a dead cat versus a dead hedgehog. I mean, of course, there's the presumption that, well, because I have cats as pets, then that's probably why I reacted. But I don't actually think that's the real reason. I think it has something to do. I think there's a more macro reason. I don't think it's condensed down to the individual as to why there's a stronger reactant in me to seeing a dead cat than there is to seeing a dead hedgehog. I think that there's, because it's unconscious, because it's happening whilst I realize the situation in its entirety, at least from my rational point of view, so my ration of perception, you know this reactivity feeling is being spurred on by something unconscious. That's what I am thinking currently. And it's to both situations. It's to the dead cat and the dead hedgehog. And I asked myself, when I got back to my place, I asked myself, why? Why did I react stronger in an unconscious way? And it made me think of, people who eat cats and dogs in other countries that allow for that practice. It made me think about how I identify somebody's nature first um, by associating my understanding, my comprehension with their point of view versus their perspective. And so we know that, a point of view is static, a perspective is subject to change given the environment's conditionality. So, think of a perspective like an amoeba is taking on new forms, is coming into contact. A point of view is not like that. A point of view is like a node in a network of nodes that has clear, direct vantages. And so I associate first my comprehension with a node outlook, with the point of view of other people, and not just other people, but animals. Like, you can see how, like, when you're walking past a horse, if you make a noise, then the horse, reacts a bit, and I can certainly associate a point of view. I can associate myself with the vantage of the horse. I wouldn't even know where to begin to associate myself with the perspective of a horse, but that's why I'm not a horse whisperer. But anyway, that's digressing. I was thinking about how I associate my comprehension of others and how I empathize. It's always, first and foremost with the point of view, and then I have to work on empathizing with the perspective of others because that does not come as natural to me. So I was thinking about that, that plus thinking about the different cultures that allow for eating dogs and cats. And now I was thinking about point of view as it pertains to symbol, as it pertains to a symbol. Now, if we think about like the words symmetric and asymmetric, we can break it down. There's that common part of the word sym between symmetric, asymmetric, and then symbol. And so if we think about like sim as being a word that is describing a similar concept to our word frame, and then we think of the metric part of symmetric and asymmetric. We start to notice, well, metric system, so a set of measurements. So asymmetric is a particular set of measurements, and symmetric is set of measurements. So if we brought in the word prosymmetric, that would be a general set of measurements to be at a polarity with asymmetric, which would be a particular set of measurements. And so I know I'm seemingly digressing here, but I'm getting to something. But so symmetric would be that sort of median point between prosymmetric and asymmetric. It would be the ideal, and that would be governed by the laws of perspective, so subject to change depending, you know, depending context. So, but I bring that up. I bring, prosymmetric, symmetric, asymmetric up, and connect it to symbol to explain that that's, part of, symbol is frame. It's a frame of, what you're looking at when you're looking at a symbol. You're looking at a frame, but unlike a symptom, it's not a frame that is dealing with connections per se, but it's a frame that is dealing with association. So think of a symbol like it is the inductive reasoning version of a deductive reasoning symptom. So symptom categorized under in dichotomy under deductive reasoning, symbol categorized in dichotomy under inductive reasoning. So it's dealing with association. The symbol is dealing with association. So I started to think about that and how I was seeing the dead cat, seeing the dead hedgehog, how I was, flashing on, the partial idea of, cultures that consume cats and dogs, and then I was thinking, I've since that moment, I've forgotten some of what I was thinking through, but the point that I thought too, I haven't forgot, which is this, that a symbol is a frame, it is a frame of association. And so when we think of our common symbols, we think of our common frames of association. And so this is really where we start to find, some navigation for right and wrong from an innocent perspective, and so because I associate more with the point of view of someone, I can see that character. I can see the innocent character of the common person, if you want to say it, or perhaps maybe I can't, maybe not that, maybe of the common man, because I'm not a woman. I wouldn't even begin to try to interpret this, what I'm getting at, from a female perception, because I don't have it. But thinking about the symbol being a framing of association, so a realization through inductive reasoning, I started to realize, hey, virtually no one, is concerned with the symbol of a dead hedgehog. In fact, it's been classified, though not outrightly so, it's been classified as a member of the category under, roadkill, right? By association. I'm not talking about symptoms right now. I'm not talking about deductive connections. I'm talking about inductive associations. I'm talking about symbols. So the hedgehog has been categorized collectively as roadkill, but a cat, or a dog, let's say, these animals haven't. They have not been categorized as roadkill. And almost universally, I mean, there are odd countries, and it is right to call them odd in this respect. There are odd countries that do partake in the practice of butchering and eating, cats and dogs. But these are oddities. These are deviations from the, inductive, narrative, shall we say. And so I was thinking about that. That's the point I got to. And then I realized that's what the unconscious trigger is. Why do I feel that it is more anxiety causing to see a dead cat on the side of the road than to see a hedgehog squashed on a crossing? The reason is because the collective inductive narrative expresses that it is worse, expresses that it should cause you more anxiety, that it should cause me more anxiety, that it is generally, indicative of something that is sort of should not be. It's just something that you should not see. If we are living by the inductive collective narrative, you should not see a dead cat. You should not see a dead dog. These are things not by any other means other than natural, obviously. But and there may be a few other cases where it may be not so bad to see a dead dog or a dead cat. I'm thinking of, like, for example, if a surgery at a vet didn't go so well, and the dog or cat died on the operating table, in that sort of a situation, then I don't think it would trigger the same level of anxiety from the from the realization of the inductive collective narrative. But I think when you just see a dead dog or a dead cat just on the sidewalk, or on the road, it should not be. It's something like you just should not see it by, by the, by the outline, shall we say, of the inductive collective narrative. It's not okay. And that's why it causes anxiety. At least, anyway, that's what I came to, the realization that I came to, the point that I came to. And, yeah. So, anyway, that's what I wanted to comment on today. Have a good day. Peace. Meow.